Three of the colors that I use to make flesh tones are yellows, either warm or cold, reds, mostly warm, like cadmium red medium, and burnt sienna. But that's not to say that those are the only colors that you could use to make flesh tones. So I always encourage students to get a blank piece of paper to actually test the color. This is especially important in an underpainting process where you're building up layers. If you don't know what color you're putting down on top of the underpainting, then you're going to be at a loss for how to move forward. In the light mass, most skin tones are some sort of shade of orange. That orange could be more red, could be more yellow, but make sure that you are watering that color down enough so that the white of the paper is showing through. The blue underpainting is there to demonstrate the temperature shift from the light mass to the shadow mass. So as you're putting more realistic skin tones into the shadow mass, the blue is underneath, making it colder. People are often afraid to put blue or purple or green in a face because they don't see that color in reality. But when we look at a face, we are actually blending all of the different color shapes optically. A face is one of the most complex things that we see, and we cannot focus on every single part. So we visually simplify. When you paint a portrait, you look very specifically at different parts, and you focus on them, emphasize them, even exaggerate them. But what you can't do is further simplify. The face will appear flat. It will look like it has no blood running through it. By creating a temperature shift, you give it a life. The beauty of this process is seeing all of the layers build up on top of each other. As you are applying layers, you must only work for a very short amount of time. The more that you work in an area, the more you risk picking up layers that are underneath. As the paint dries, it will dry lighter than how you applied it. So instead of trying to fight that and overloading it with water and pigment, trying to build up layers while it's wet, be patient, wait for it to dry, come back and add more layers. That way you can create visual depth and physical depth. We tend to focus on these three facial features, the eyes, nose, and mouth. And while it's not a mistake to focus on these three features, they should not be the entirety of your focus. The forehead, the cheeks, the chin, the bridge of the nose, the ear, these should all demand your attention. But what the nose and the eyes and the mouth have are these points of articulation, areas where your eye goes and knows what to focus upon. Actually, only the bottom of the nose has points of articulation with the nostrils and the change of light from the top side to the bottom side of the nose. If you only get the eyes, nose, and mouth correct, the face will be formless. You have to capture the ocular cavity. You have to capture the cheeks. You have to capture the forehead. You have to capture the chin and the neck. Otherwise, you'll look like you have a pancake for a head. And that's not considered traditionally attractive. There are multiple facets to focus on as you get deeper into the painting, but the main things that I would suggest is giving yourself the time to develop the painting. Give yourself permission to take chances and fail, but don't work haphazardly. Each mark should be meant to communicate a particular aspect of the face, and you shouldn't lay down any marks that don't correlate to the image that you're working from. So have fun painting, and know that you can do this.